श्रीमद्भागवतम् 5.13.1 ब्राह्मण उवाच दुरत्यये ध्वन्यजया निवेशितो रजस्तमः सत्त्वविभक्तकर्मदृक् स एष सार्थोऽर्थपरः परिभ्रमन् भवाटवीं याति न शर्म विन्दति। ब्राह्मणः उवाच The Brahmana Jadabharat continued to speak. Duratyaye, which is very difficult to traverse. Adhvani, on the path of fruitive activities, performing actions in this life, creating a body in the next life by those actions, and in this way, continuously accepting birth and death. Ajaya, by Maya, the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Niveshitah, caused to enter. Rajah tamah sattva vibhakta karmadrik, a conditioned soul who sees only immediately beneficial fruitive activities and their results, which are divided into three groups by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Staha, he, eshah, this, sa arthaha, the living entity falsely seeking sense gratification. Arthaparaha, intent upon gaining wealth. Paribhraman, wandering all over. Bhava atavim, the forest known as Bhava, which means the repetition of birth and death. Yati, enters. Na, not. Sharma, happiness. Vindati, obtains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Jadabharat, who had fully realized Brahman, continued, My dear King Rahugana, the living entity wanders on the path of the material world, which is very difficult for him to traverse, and he accepts repeated birth and death. Being captivated by the material world under the influence of the three modes of material nature, Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, the living entity can see only the three fruits of activities under the spell of material nature. These fruits are auspicious, inauspicious, and mixed. He thus becomes attached to religion, economic development, sense gratification, and the monastic theory of liberation or merging with the Supreme. He works very hard day and night, exactly like a merchant who enters a forest to acquire some articles to sell later for profit. However, he cannot really achieve happiness within this material world. Jadabharat, who had fully realized Brahman, continued, My dear King Rahugana, the living entity wanders on the path of the material world, which is very difficult for him to traverse, and he accepts repeated birth and death. Being captivated by the material world, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, Tattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, the living entity can see only the three fruits of activities under the spell of the material nature. These fruits are auspicious, inauspicious, and mixed. He thus becomes attached to religion, economic development, sense gratification, and the monastic theory of liberation or merging with the Supreme. He works very hard day and night, exactly like a merchant who enters a forest to acquire some articles to sell later for profit. However, he cannot really achieve happiness within this material world. Purport. One can very easily understand how difficult and insurmountable the path of sense gratification is. Not knowing what the path of sense gratification is, one becomes implicated in the repetition of birth and accepts different types of bodies again and again. You should not put your hand like that, it's inauspicious. You should not put your hand on the head. Thus, one suffers in material existence. In this life, one may think that he is very happy being an American, Indian, Englishman, or German, but in the next life, one has to accept another body among 8,400,000 species. The next body has to be immediately accepted according to karma. One will be forced to accept a certain type of body, and protesting will not help. That is the stringent law of nature. Due to the living entity's ignorance of his eternal blissful life, he becomes attracted to material activities under the spell of Maya. In this world, he can never experience happiness, yet he works very hard to do so. This is called Maya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Brahmana Uvacha, the Brahmana Jadabharat continued to speak, and if you see the translation, Jadabharat, who had fully realized Brahman, continued. So Brahmana, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. The definition of Brahmana is one who is conversant with the knowledge of Brahman. That means spiritual knowledge. Brahman means it includes Parabrahman also. So when we say Brahman, according to the context, it can mean many things. Either the spirit soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual world, the Brahma Jyoti, like that. So, Brahmana is one who has realized. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. That is the definition of Brahmana. The second initiation, this thread means Brahmana. That means we have to be conversant with the science. Otherwise, what is the difference between the caste Brahmanas and our Brahmanas? If they don't know anything about philosophy. They also don't know, we also don't know, then what? So it is not just for going and do puja. That is one thing. But also you must know our stuff, our philosophy. Otherwise, we will bring bad reputation for Prabhupada. You know, That is one thing. I mean, we ourselves will not make it back to Godhead if we are not conversant with this science. Therefore, Shravanam should be there. Otherwise, one cannot become Brahmana. So, Jada Bharat, Brahmanishtham, what is that? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Guru Mevabhigachet. What is that? Verse. Sa Guru Mevabhigachet. Tad Vijnanartham. Yes. Mundaka Upanishad 1 to 20, 1 to 12. Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Evabhigachet. Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. That's actually the full verse. Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Let's see whether there's a. So, Vijnanartham. We have to come to the Guru for Vijnana, for spiritual knowledge, so that our ignorance is dissipated and we can actually see things as they are and solve our problems. We cannot solve the problem when we don't see the problem. So, in order to see the problem and in order to see the solution, Vijnanartham, that should be the goal. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. And when Brahma Janati, then he is Brahmana. Jigyasa, it must start from Jigyasa. Inquiry. It is important to be a fool and admit one's lack of knowledge and inquire in order to actually get knowledge. If we don't inquire, thinking that, oh, if I ask this question, maybe I'll look like a fool. It's better to be fool for a while than to be fool forever. So, tad vijnanartham sa gurum evabhigachet. This gachet, this grammatical Sanskrit grammar of this et, gachet, gacha means to go. Gachet means must go. Let's see. This is called vidhilin. This specific rule is called vidhilin. You see, bhavet kriya vidhilin shay iha koy kartavya avashya e anyatha pratyavay. Bhavet, that et suffix is vidhilin. Here the use of the verb bhavet, which is in the imperative mood. That means it's imperative for one to go to the Guru. Otherwise, if he's not inquiring, then he is animal. There's no difference between him and animal. Don't inquire. If human doesn't inquire, then same as animal. Which is in the imperative mood, eva bhigachet, tells us that this certainly must be done. Non-compliance would be abandonment of duty. And abandonment of duty comes with the consequence of punishment. So a human being who does not have a spiritual master, he is an anatha, he is an orphan. Previously, people used to have guru. That used to be the standard. And of course, it declined, and people used to just have kula gurus. Kula guru means just for family, some guru. Everybody used to have him, and then he doesn't teach anything. And in this way, because of lack of knowledge, the whole system declined. And eventually, it became irrelevant. Guru became irrelevant because Guru is just a person who will come and do some ashirwad and go back. Oh, Guruji, I got a job in, big company, MNC, or London, or New York, Sweden. Then give me blessing, ashirwad. That's it. This is kind of Guru. So, that is, Prabhupada said, my father never wanted to be a mlecha. When he was supposed to, his mother wanted him to study in London. What is that? To become barrister, law. Father was not willing. I don't want him to become lecha. Lecha, meat eater. So he wanted him to know all about devotional life, all aspects of devotional life. So that is the thing. Imperative. Evabhigachet. And samit pani hai. Samit pani means, actually, pani means hands. Samit pani means carrying firewood. By carrying firewood, we have to approach a guru and listen to him. Why firewood? So, of course, previously, Gurukul, like Krishna and Sudama, they went to bring firewood for yajna. So, of course, now in today's age, there is Sankirtan yajna is the main thing, not really. Otherwise, every day, don't put your hand like that. Yeah, somebody died or what? Or you are going to die or going to hell or what is inauspicious in your life? So, sacrifice means preparing for sacrifice. Firewood is preparation for sacrifice. In other words, symbolically, that means a disciple must sacrifice everything for the Guru. Everything means there is no holding back, including his very life. He is now a slave. He is a slave. As much as Westerners don't like this word, but they like to do that. Capitalism is full of slaves. Now they call him employee. It's a different word. It's another synonym for slave. Give you an illusion of freedom and then make you slave. So, but for the Guru, a disciple must be slave. There's no question of enjoyment or on his own sense gratification. No, nothing. Everything must be done. Then, in that way only, one becomes humble. Even though, like you see, Krishna and Sudama, of course, Sudama was a Brahmana, but Krishna is Bhagavan himself, but he came under the order of Kshatriya. Even then, he went and became a slave of his Guru. Because one cannot rule, one cannot become a Rajarshi without being a slave to the Guru. And slave does not mean until he graduates from the Gurukul. After that, hi Guru. Not like this. He is a slave, Janme Janme Prabhushe Chakshudan Diloje. That means for Janme Janme, lifetime after lifetime, he is Guru, Master, I am his slave. Prabhupada considered himself a slave at the age of 69 and went. My Guru Maharaj ordered me to preach in the Western countries. So I am a slave, I must accept. Today's song we sang, Tumi to Thakur Tumar Kukur. Of course, here in the song it was about Krishna. But same thing for the Guru. We cannot go to Krishna without Guru. So we have to become a slave of the Guru. And as I explained, what verse is that? Don't know. 7:12:1. Remember, huh? Where is the notebook? Paramahamsa. Notebook. Sri Narada Vacha. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Gurorhitam Acharan Dasavan Nichah Gurau Sudridha Sauhridaha. And this is, don't think that this is only for brahmacharis. For grihasthas, we can be, no need to be slave. Or women, no need to be slave. Nonsense. Brahmachari means brahmacharati iti brahmachari. Who is brahmachari? Who treads the path of Brahman or spiritual path, he is a brahmachari. Doesn't matter, woman, man. Of course, there is the ashram for the man, but we have taken a guru means we are a shishya. Usually, women are not given diksha. Women, for her, the guru is the husband. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the one who started initiating. Of course, great devotees like Nityananda Prabhu's wife, they used to initiate also. But especially the initiation and the Diksha, name giving, the what is that? The Brahmin Diksha, especially, all this is by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Otherwise, Madhvacharya says in that 7-11-28 purport, I think, last. For the wife, husband is the guru. Husband has the guru, spiritual master. Wife's duty is to simply follow the husband. So now we have women also being given Diksha. So they have to also comply now. Not only now, before also they used to comply. So Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Guror Hitam. Guror Hitam means only for the sake of Guru. Hita means welfare. But Guru, what welfare does he need? He is the one who is giving welfare to others. Mahad Vichalanam Narinam Grahinam Dina Chetasam. What is that? Nishreyasaya Bhagavan Kalpate Nanyatha Kvachit. You see, Mahad Vichalanam Narin. Mahad means great devotees. Vichalanam means Chalanam means to go. Even in Hindi, chal. So Vichalanam means Vikrishta. What is it? Not Prakrishta. What is it? I forget the Sanskrit. Prakrishta and I don't know. So it's stress. Basically, it's stressed. That means excessively they travel. We have to remember, one who is chanchal in his mind, he better stay in one place and be grihastha. Grahastha. Stha means situated. Stay there. Grihastha are not supposed to travel. Ramayana, we find Ram and Sita travel and all kinds of dangers, all kinds of problems. Grihastha, usually householders stay in one place. Who travel? Sannyasis travel. And along with him, brahmacharis who are his servants, they also travel. So they travel, a person is qualified to travel according to Vedic culture. He is qualified to travel only when he is sthita prajna. When his mind, his heart, his intelligence is fixed, then he can start moving in this world. Vichalanam. When he is chanchala, then he has to stay in one place. When he is fixed, then he can move. Then he can bring everybody to the point of sthita prajna. So Mahad Vichalanam Narinam Grahinam Dina Chetasam. He travels for who? To extend welfare for the poor-hearted grihasthas. Poor-hearted means they may be very rich. They may have a lot of money. But their heart is poor. They have no time for Krishna. No love at all. So Dina Chetasam, Grihina, Nishreyasaya. For their highest benefit, he moves, he travels. Kalpate Nanyatha Kvachit. So you see O my Lord, O great devotee, persons like you move from one place to another not for their own interests, but for the sake of poor-hearted grihasthas, householders. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another. They don't go for sightseeing. They don't go for tourism. They're not interested. They go for helping others. When one is chanchal, he wants to go everywhere just for his sense gratification. But when one is sthita prajna, then he will move for everybody else's benefit. Even though he is not invited, he will go. You know what is the meaning of, we have learned this in our childhood. Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. We have heard this, right? Have you heard? Singapore, they don't hear. In India. Atithi Devo Bhava, right? What is the meaning? Atithi Devo Bhava. Huh? What is that? Gas. Yes. Guest. No, actually. Because Tithi means date, time. muhurtam, there will be some. If when there's a guest in your house, first there will be a confirmation of a meeting. Okay, let's meet. Yeah, appointment is made, and then you meet. Atithi means he has the right who can come without invitation. That is the meaning of Atithi. And only sannyasis are eligible for that. Devotees, they don't require invitation. Hey, I did not invite you, you're an uninvited guest. Yes. And the sannyasi has the right to be an uninvited guest. That is the meaning of Atithi. And that is why it is Devo Bhava. Any idiotic guest is not Devo Bhava. Understand? Who's a pakka sense gratifier, he is not Devo Bhava. Why he is Devo Bhava? Atithi Devo Bhava. A person who is, because you see, like Sukadeva Goswami. What is that verse? Um, um, no. One second. This is 148. Is this the one? Yes. Sukadeva Goswami, his behavior, you see, Sagodahana matram hi गृहेषु गृहमेधिनाम् अवेक्षते महाभागस तीर्थीकुर्वं stadaashramam. What is that? He, Sukadeva Goswami, was accustomed to staying at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked. And he did this just to sanctify the residence. He used to go, this is called Madhukari. He'll go a little bit, and when the cow is being milked, he will stand there and they will give him a little bit on the chulukena, one chuluka, means palmful, and he'll drink that. That's his sustenance for the day, and that's it. And in that time, if the person is inquisitive, then he will preach. That was his business. Therefore, in our culture, Vedic culture, now it has become that if you see in outside temples, there will be so many beggars. But actually, previously it was sadhus. And so nowadays, some uncultured people also dress like sadhus and sit down and beg and then smoke bidi. But really, the real culture was the sadhus, they have the right to beg and they preach. When the person stops to give something, he will preach. And the householder also feels it that it is his privilege to give to the sadhus. Not like, oh, again, these guys. But now it has become, they'll make a business out of it. You go to these holy places, they will chase you and, they will really irritate you. That is not. See, because they cannot give anything in return, they must chase now. They must like cheat you or something. But if they are actually qualified, people will want to give. And if they're really qualified, they will not stay there. Raghunath Das Goswami, in the beginning portions of his sannyas life, he was standing outside Jagannath Puri temple and he was collecting the food that was washed away, the rice. That he was picking up and eating. And then after some time, he thought, I'm standing here for my own sustenance like a prostitute. Because prostitute stands like that, right? For her own sustenance on the road. For my own sustenance, I'm standing, this is not very good. I should not do this. Then it is not bad. It is, because the beginning stages of sannyas, it is called Kutichaka. Kutichaka, then he will stay in a kutir only, near his hometown. So that people who know him, they will come, oh, he has become sannyasi. They will give something. But after some time, when he gains a little more faith in the Lord, he has to Madhukari. He has to now go about, leave his place of residence, even outskirts. He has to leave, totally depend on the Lord, and then Madhukari, like the honeybee, collect little bit from each flower. Like that, he has to just depend on not one person or one place, just anyone. and depend on the laws. And likewise, his faith will increase more and more. And then after that, he will become even more Parivrajaka. He will travel and preach widely, make disciples, set up temples, worship, preaching missions. Then finally, Paramahamsa, where he will hand over the preaching to his disciples and he will shut himself up completely, in Samadhi. And like that, he will leave. So these are stages of sannyas also. So, anyway, Mahat Vichalanam, they move. For what he moved? Go dahana matram, only for the time of milking the cow. Little bit time, not spending too much time with the householders also. Just instructing them and that's it. Graheshu grahamedhinam avekshate mahabhagah tirthi kurvanashram. So anyway, my point is, the devotees, sadhus, they bring auspiciousness for the entire world. They bring hita. Hita means welfare for the world. But a brahmachari has to be guru or hitam. He has to work only for the welfare of the guru. But why guru needs this hitam? Who is brahmachari to give hitam to guru? That means the guru, his needs, basically welfare means to meet the needs of those who are needy, right? The guru's needs are what? He does not have any personal needs, the Lord takes care of. The guru's needs means the order of the guru. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he ordered. His need was that this Krishna consciousness must be spread to all over the world. And Guru or Hitam, Prabhupada did that. So, okay, my Guru Maharaj wanted this. I have to serve him. So, his needs are spiritual. He will ask us to serve Krishna. Usually people ask for something and we give, but Guru also asks. But his asking is for our benefit. It looks like as if he is in need. He is not in need. We are in need of that service. When we learn that service to the Guru is the only thing we need to worry about in this world. That's the only thing we should be thinking about. Everything else is anartha. Everything else is anartha. Then it is Guru Hitam. Acharan Dasavan. Dasa means slave. Nicha. Very, very menial slave. Not like, yeah, I will serve. But no, menial. Sundagopal Prabhu always, his favorite line is, you wash the toilet. Wash the toilet. Start washing the toilet first. Slave. So Gurau Sudridha Sauhridaha. Sudridha. Fixed. With firm determination. That's how a brahmachari or a disciple should exist. Sauhridaha. With firm friendship. Suhrida means firm friendship for the spiritual master. Friendship means anything and everything for the Guru. So that is the mode of the disciple. Okay. So Brahmana Uvacha, one who is accustomed, or Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham, this is Brahmana. Shrotriyam means, first of all, he has heard. That means he is coming in a disciplic succession. He has heard from his Guru and realized Brahmanishtham. Now he is fixed up completely in the Brahman, means spiritual knowledge. And not just any Brahman, Bhagavan realization. So that is the qualification of Guru, second line. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham is the qualification of Guru. And the first line is the qualification of disciple. Tad Vijnanartham, he should be very eager to learn knowledge, Vijnana. And he must approach the Guru with Samit Panihi, ready to sacrifice anything for the Guru. That is the disciple. So, very nicely in this one verse, the qualification of Guru and disciple is summarized, concisely explained. Okay. So, that Brahmana Uvacha, today's verse. So what he's saying, duratyaye adhvani ajaya niveshitah, which is very difficult to traverse. What is the very difficult? Adhvani. On the path of fruitive activities, performing actions in this life, creating a body in the next life by those actions, and in this way, continuously accepting birth and death. So, it will be interesting to know actually the etymology of this word adhvani, because dhvani means usually sound. Dhvani. Adhvani. Huh? No, adhvani means on the path of fruitive activities. So I do not know what is the other meaning of this adhvani. Like if my understanding adhvani means without sound, but this doesn't look like that. So I don't know why it is called adhvani. Does it have a connotation or what? That will be interesting to know. And if you find anything, you can let me know. So adhvani on the path of fruitive activities, performing actions, and so this is a very troublesome path. As Prahlad Prabhu was saying the other day, Prabhupada said that material life may be difficult. Sorry, spiritual life may be difficult, but material life is impossible. Choose. If you think spiritual life is difficult, then material life is impossible. Because honestly, we cannot take what we want. We have worked so hard and yet we lose everything. So that is impossible. We cannot gain anything here. And which is full of troubles even while you are traversing it. So it is impossible. Durathyaya, mama maya durathyaya. Ajaya by maya, the external energy of the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Niveshitah, constant. Rajah, tamah, sattva, vibhakta karma trik. So many important things here. The living entity wanders on the path of the material world, which is very difficult for him to traverse. It is a very difficult path, but still people want. The example is given as that of a camel. You found anything? Camel. Why a camel? He explains. If you read 2:3-19, you can in the purport you can see the camel's example. Camel, he likes to eat cactus, and cactus is full of thorns. And the thorns, as he is eating, it will prick his tongue and mouth. So much blood will be coming out. And he thinks the cactus, the thorns mixed with the blood, the taste is very nice. He enjoys his own bleeding, and that's how material world is. People are suffering so much to maintain their families. And in fact, the whole principle of sex life is also just it's bleeding. Because semen is nothing but what? Concentrated blood. It said that one drop of semen is 64 drops of blood concentrated. The blood is concentrated more and more and more, like the chyle, the fat, the bone marrow, and then finally semen is the most concentrated. So it's wasting. So it's camel, but he enjoys sex life, just wasting his own blood. He enjoys it. So there's camel mentality. So people who are just think that this is the highest happiness, this is camel's life. Foolish. And Krishna is so how kind he is. He creates such animals to give us lessons. And when we read these examples of the animals and we think, tortoise example is there, camel example is there, pig example is there, dog example is there, snake, frog, birds. So many animals and trees are used as examples to teach us many instructions about spiritual life, right? So that would mean, just like so many flowers are there for Krishna, the plants have offered the flower. So they have come in use in Krishna's service. This wood, this altar is made of this wood. The tree which we gave this wood is going to serve the Lord for many, many years, maybe even decades. And the tree which gave, or the trees which whose wood this is, will also benefit those souls. And those plants and animals which remind us of Krishna's instructions, Krishna is actually benefiting them because they are also coming in use of Krishna's service to teach us some instructions. So they will also benefit. He is kind to them and is also kind to us because when we see these animals, we can remember Krishna's instructions. Because we cannot read all day. We are not so elevated like Parikshit Maharaj. He can hear for 7 days and nights without eating, sleeping, drinking. We are not so advanced. We cannot. So we will read for some time, and after that we are all seeing outside. And even when we see outside, so there are points of instruction of Krishna everywhere, everywhere. So in that way, we will learn. So they are becoming mirrors in teaching us again whatever we have learned in the book. So they are also being then engaged in Krishna's service. If you see a tree, you will remember Krishna's instructions, Tarorapisa Hishnuna, and so many other instructions about trees. Or dog. You see a dog. What is that today's song? Tumi to Thakur Tumar Kukur. You can see how faithful the dog is to the owner. How much friend, Guru or Hitam, right? The dog will do anything. If he loves the owner, he will just do anything. He will give his life for the owner. I don't know if you have seen those videos where even a bear comes sometimes to the house, and the dog will go and fight the bear to defend the owner. The dog has no chance. He will fight even wild animals who are way powerful than him, just for the owner. So that kind of faithfulness. So we may say, "Oh, dog, very low class animal." Yeah, it is. That is also another instruction. I should not be like a dog in the material world, because in material world, what is happening? Our big education, big institutions, Harvard, MIT, and all this. What after that? When they graduate, slave. They become a dog now. Prabhupada said, take application form and go everywhere, ask for. This is dog, no? Here we are prepared to become dog and say, I am a big dog. And then we want to become a dog for Krishna. So this is our problem. But we must become, there are always two sides. Shvavid Varahostra Khare. Dog is, yes, as a low class animal which does not hear any Krishna Katha. But also the good side is that the dog is a faithful servant of the owner. So both lessons are there. So dogs, you will find everywhere people are carrying dogs. So you can, remember Krishna's instructions. So in this way, we can remember Krishna's instructions everywhere, and then that soul becomes benefited also because the soul helped in the service of Krishna. Not by some flower or by wood or something like this, but by thought. Induced some thought. The dog did not even think of it. This is called Ajnata Sukriti. Doing pious activity without even its knowing. So we have now come to a Krishna consciousness. You think we qualified. No, some Ajnata Sukriti. Maybe we were a dog and some devotee looked at us and said, yeah, I should be like that dog for Krishna. And then because of the devotees thinking about so we get benefit. We never thought. So we are only here because of those touches with the devotees somewhere, and then eventually it fructified. It came until now where we are actually trying to take a little more seriously. So very difficult to traverse this material world, and he accepts repeated birth and death. This is like the camel. Being captivated by the material world under the influence of the three modes of material nature, the living entity can see only the three fruits of activities under the spell of material nature. And if you see the word to word, what is that? Raja, Tamaha, Sattva, Vibhakta Karma Drik. Vibhakta. Vibhakta. The two meanings always. V has two meanings: stress or negation also. So, just like nih, N-I-H, that nih, N-I-H with a dot, visarga. That also has two meanings. If it is a prefix, then it's either negation or the highest, like Nishreyasaya means the highest welfare, or Nirakar means no form, or highest form, Nirakar, the highest form. So, two connotations. So, anyway, Vibhakta, Karmadrik. So, this is, and if you see the word to word translation, Prabhupada explains, it did not get translated into the translation itself. But you see, a conditioned soul who sees only immediately beneficial fruitive activities and their results, which are divided into three groups by the modes of goodness, passion, and this is our Shreya and Preya. Prabhupada many times Prabhupada mentions this, right? What is Preya? What is Preya? Yeah. Immediately beneficial, but not ultimately beneficial. Shreya means the exact opposite. May not look beneficial now, but it's beneficial in the long run. And Nishreya means the highest of such um, ultimate benefits. So just like a child, he will want to play, he will want to be happy just now, but he doesn't care to think about what his future is going to be if he's just going to waste his time like that. So the parents, they are interested in the shreya of the child. They want him to be educated so that he can have a better situated, he can be better situated in his life. But even that, compared to the nishreyasaya, it is still preya. The parents thinking that, oh, when he grows up, he should be having a nice life, and so he should be educated now, materialistic education. That is another prayer. We think it is, we are thinking about the future, but actually, this lifetime, which is even 80 years, 100 years, it's a flash in time. It's a flash in time. Even if we think of 50 years into the future, that is still prayer, because we are eternal. So 50 years compared to eternal is what? That's prayer. So Shreya means, real Shreya means what is benefit ultimately, especially next life, going back to Godhead. But what is the materialist problem? They can only Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Vibhakta, Karmadrik. They can only see immediately. So they will only pursue those things which immediately give benefit. This is called children's mentality. And this verse says is very nice. Phala shrutiriyam nirnam nashreyo rochanam param shreyo vivakshaya proktam yatha bhaishajya rochanam. What is that? Those statements of scripture promising fruitive rewards do not prescribe the ultimate good for men, but are merely enticements for executing beneficial religious duties, like promises of candy spoken to induce a child to take beneficial medicine. So, if a person is not interested in a long term benefit, like Krishna consciousness, how are we going to induce him? So, Krishna is so kind that he introduced demigod worship. Cheating them basically. You don't want, you want this, okay, take this. But in order to get this, I'll give you something which you cannot imagine. I mean, heavenly planets, apsaras, I'll give you so many things. But in order to get that, you have to do something. Yajna process. And in that, there will be worship of Vishnu, at least officially, at least. Start somewhere. So he is so, Krishna is so merciful that when we are completely uninterested in him, he is not even trying to convince us because we are hard to be convinced. And we think that is a strength, it is not. It's only a strength when we are completely Krishna conscious. Then, if we are unable to be convinced by anything other than Krishna consciousness, that is actual strength. But if I am unable to be convinced about anything, especially spiritual life, that is actually a weakness. So they don't want to be convinced. So, all right, you won't be convinced. I will not even try. You want this, you take it. I'll give you a better version of it in the heavenly planets. Here, do this thing and you get it. So, But people think Vedavadarataha Partha Nanyadastiti Vadinaha. These Vedavadarataha, those who think they are Vedantists following some Smarta, whatever, they think that, oh, by doing these things we go to heavenly planets and that is the goal of life. In this way, they forget the real goal. But promises of candy. But this is for less intelligent people. That's why Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita he rejected this whole process of Devata worship. Why? Because it's for less intelligent people. An intelligent man, like an adult, he should understand the value of medicine and he should take the medicine however bitter it is. Not that I don't take medicine and I cry like a baby and then he has to be given some sugar pill and then after that medicine. No, that's not. Adult means I must understand now. I cannot be a fool like a child. So, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asking us to become an adult. Don't remain a kid. Grow up. Don't stop this nonsense demigod worship. You just worship me. That's what he's saying. So, but you see, Raja, Tamas, Sattva, Vibhakta Karma, they can only see immediately beneficial works. So, if you see modern population is entirely like this, just this, only within this life is their vision. That's it. Oh, there's no proof there is something after this. That's it. Mataji was telling the other day that in the universities you cannot speak about, you're not allowed to speak about God. You're banned from speaking about God. Yeah. That is what we are being taught. Paying money, thousands and thousands of dollars for an education which is completely devoid of any education. There's zero knowledge there. You're paying. And here, free education, universities cannot compare. Nobody wants. Because it's free. Or also because you have to sacrifice your sense gratification. That is the real reason. Even free, they don't want. When sense gratification has to be given up, even if it is free, they don't want. When sense gratification is promised, oh, you come to our university, then you will get job in the biggest companies. You become the biggest slave. Oh, yes, I will become. Then I will say, Tumi to Thakur, Tumharo Kukur. Who? Google. This is what will happen. Instead of for Krishna, I will do for Kulshekar Alvar says this very nicely. नाथे नः पुरुषोत्तमे त्रिजगताम् एकाधिपे चेतसा सेव्ये स्वस्य पदस्य दातरि परे नारायणे तिष्ठति यं कञ्चित् पुरुषाधमं कतिपय ग्रामेशमल्पार्थदम् सेवायै मृगयामहे नरमहो मूढा वराका वयम्. How many words is using to scold us? Sevaya mrigayamahe naramaho mudha varaka vayam. See. Our master, the personality of Godhead Narayana, who alone rules the three worlds, whom one can serve in meditation and who happily shares his personal domain, is manifest before us. Narayana, who rules and not only these three worlds, but the entire material, spiritual, everything, and who happily not only he owns everything, he is happily willing to share his own personal abode with us, where every dust speck is a Chintamani. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha. That rich he is, and he is willing to share his abode with us. I don't want him. What I want? I don't want the Purushottama. I am searching for Purushadhama. You see. Yet still we beg for the service of some minor lord of a few villages, some lowly man, a Gramesham. We don't want the What is that? Maheshwaram, Parameshwaram. We don't want. We want who? Gramesham, Lord of a few villages, or even say this earth. This is comparatively how many cities compared to the cities of the entire universe? Few. Gramesham. Even if you're at top of the earth, you are still a Gramesham only in compared with the Lord. We beg for the service of some Gramesham and Purushadhamam, lowly man who can only meagerly reward us. Alparthadam, Alpartha, what he can give us? Some meager benefits. And for this, I am giving up the Lord who is giving the greatest benefit of sharing his own spiritual abode eternally without. And this guy will throw us at the slightest mistake. This Purushadhama, if we don't meet our target in the company, okay, go. Finish. That's it. But the Lord will not leave us. He is not leaving us even though we left him. That great Lord we have left. Look at our gratitude. Just study our how much gratitude we have for the Lord. That's why Hare Krishna chanting means, I'm not qualified, Krishna, I'm not qualified at all. I'm a useless fellow. I have done everything against you. I don't even qualify to chant, hold these names in my mouth. But please, engage me in your service. That's the whole prayer. Yeah. You would see what we have done. Alas, what foolish wretches we are. Mudha. Varaka means already fool. Mudha Varaka. Mudha square. Mudha square. Varaka square. This is perfectly instructive. And Ashitim Chatuраschaiva. Brahma Vaivarta Purana. This is very important verse. Prabhupada stressed this in this lecture here. He stressed this verse. This is so important, Prabhupada said. But unfortunately, it's not in his books. But I think now they included, in one of the purports somewhere, this thing. But anyway, Ashitim Chaturashchaiva Lakshamstan Jivajatishu Brahmadbhehe Purushaihi Prapyam Manushyam Janma Pariyayat Tadapyaphalatam Jataha Tesham Atmabhimaninam Varakanam Anashritya Govinda Charanadvayam. You see, Prabhupada saying, what is this? This is very important verse. You can repeat this, one may take it by heart. These three verses. Ashitim Chaturashchaiva Lakshamstan, again repeat, you see. Tadapya Aphalacham Apalatam, repeat it. You see, Prabhupada again repeat it. This is very important, again he chants. So what is the meaning? 8.4 million species of life. Okay? And we have been transmigrating. Today also, what is that? Paribhraman. Paribhraman means wandering. Wandering. And for what? What is that verse? What is that word that we use third line? Arthaha. Arthaparaha. Arthaparaha paribhraman. Right? You see the word to word meaning today? Arthaparaha. Searching after wealth. Wealth. Sa artha paribhraman. Sa artha paraha, right? Artha paraha means desiring artha, wealth. Be intent upon gaining wealth. Yeah. So artha paraha paribhraman. We are searching for wealth. Chintamani prakara sadmasu. There is wealth. But here we are searching in the garbage. Where is wealth? Where is gold? Where is gold? Left the gold mine and came to garbage searching for gold. Brahmadbhe Purushaya Prapyam Manusham Janma Pariyayat. After 8.4 million species of transmigration, the soul enters human life. Tadapya Abhalatam Jataha Tesham Atmabhimanina. Once he gets human life, now he thinks that, hey, I am better than every other creature in this planet. And therefore I shall rule. He becomes abhimanina, becomes very proud. Such a person is a fool, varakanam. Why? Anashritya Govinda Charanadvayam. He does not take shelter of Govinda Charanadvayam, two lotus feet of Govinda, despite having the greatest chance, human life. What is that? Kshanabhangura. Kshanabhangura means in a moment we can lose this opportunity. One moment. You look at the accidents. That guy is just going and suddenly just comes and hits him and dead. One moment is enough. That's it. Kshanabhangura. All the thing that we are dreaming and planning and this and that will be finished in a moment. And death will come not in an accident, I mean anything. Death will come just one moment, it will take away everything. And that moment can be any time. But we don't perceive the danger. That's why Yudhishthir Maharaj says that is the most wonderful thing in this world. Maya is so powerful. Like the goat, exactly like the goat. The goat is being there on line to be slaughtered. But the goat who is next in line, he is munching on grass. The goat in front of him got just slaughtered. And this goat is munching on grass. We think that is foolish. That's the exact same thing we are doing. Everywhere we are looking, it's death. Everywhere we are looking, it's death. Beginning from the insects to big, everywhere there is death. In fact, the newspapers thrive on such news. Death. When you open the newspaper, all death only is picking up. Death, disease, these are the things, topics. But we don't still prepare for death. How wonderful it is. Goats. Nowadays they like to use goat for greatest of all time. Oh, he's the goat. He's the goat. Yeah, he's bakra. A bakra. You're being slaughtered nicely. Put garland like this and slaughter. Put bindi nice like this, slaughter. Sacrificial animal we are. That is actually goat. So, yeah, still we beg for this. So this is our position. That's why actually, if just in contrast, there is a very nice verse. Contrast. This is the verse from Mukundmala again, 14th. Now war. If you study geopolitics, that means why wars are taking place, why the foreign policy of different countries, why there is tension, why there is cooperation, and all these things. It's all about lording over not only the land, but even the waters. Especially water is more important sometimes because shipping. Now you order something on Amazon and something comes from China or Japan. That's because of ship or plane or whatever. But shipping. So that corridor in which the ship goes, that is very important now, very valuable, because if something can be stopped there, the whole trade of the world is stopped. And 70% of the trade happens through ships. And that line, from the, what is that called? The Middle East, what is that called? The Silk Route? Not road, the Silk Corridor? I don't know what it's called. In the Middle East. And then from Singapore is part of that, to China and everything. And the North Arctic region, Russia and that part. And the Nordic. These are, prime areas in water. So they are fighting, they are laying down their lives, sacrificing so many thousands and millions of people and money to get some control of these things. Arthaparaha, this is searching after wealth. Because if you, just like Russia, the Arctic region, the Russia wants to have more control than the Americans. If you see the earth, America is here, Russia is here. And they're both fighting for the Arctic region. Hey, ice, full of ice. Why are you going to go there? Because there is oil. For oil, they want to fight. So much tension there. Now, all that is arthaparaha. And duratyaya. So much difficulty they are taking up to gain something. But as we said, the Lord is the greatest, richest, and we have intimate connection with the Lord. Sometimes if you have a intimate connection with somebody who's a very high flyer, what is the difficulty for you to get money or anything? No difficulty, right? So we have intimate connection with the Lord, the richest of all. But we have relinquished him and come here and fighting like cats and dogs here. But in contrast, if one understands, you see what happens. Prithvi renur anuh payamsi kanikah phalgu sphulingo laghus tejo nishvasanam marutanutaram randhram susukshmam nabha क्षुद्रा रुद्र पितामह प्रभृतयः कीटाः समस्ताः सुरा दृष्टे यत्र सतारको विजयते श्रीपाद धूलिकणः. Very beautifully composed. Once our Savior has been seen, that means Lord Vishnu here, Krishna, the whole earth becomes no greater than a speck of dust. What to speak of the whole earth? The entire planets of the universe, which are just like lumps of dust, but which is what we are fighting for. We are fighting for some speck of dust. Becomes no greater than a speck of. How much are we interested in a speck of dust? Every day we are sweeping the floor and then throwing so much dust away. So we're not interested in dust. But then the land is nothing but collection of such dust particles, and we're so much interested in fighting, laying down our lives for dust and mixing with that dust. Dust thou art, dust thou shalt be, right? So we're fighting for the dust and mixing with the dust after that. So once our Savior has been seen, the whole earth becomes no greater than a speck of that. Means all the fighting in the world will stop. Nobody will care for this. Oh, I want more land. China is trying to encroach in India's territory. Where? Galwan, where nobody can stay, and they want land. Pointless. When you know that the Krishna is the ultimate, then you won't really bother for these things. So therefore, if peace has to be, United Nations is a useless attempt. It's all hype. Oh, United Nations. Crap. It's a failure of the biggest failure of 20th century probably, and continuing to the 21st. So real peace shall be attained. What? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, Gyatva Mam, Shantim Richati. All Shanti will be achieved if we understand Krishna is the owner, I am not. Whatever I have been given, yes, I will rule. And it's not for exploiting the resources of that land, no. Whatever land you have, okay, rule it in Krishna consciousness. If that person has a bigger land, let him have it, let him rule in Krishna consciousness. Oh, he's not ruling in Krishna consciousness, wage war. That was the criterion for war. Oh, that king is not ruling according to Krishna conscious principles, wage war. Not because I want to occupy that place. That used to be the criterion for war. Of course, those who want to just encroach, like, Rakshasas, they will also try to wage war with the devotees, and then they used to be fight. That's why Sura and Asura always they are fighting. The demigods don't want to occupy the Asura's kingdom. They are not interested. Asuras are interested in occupying the Devata's kingdom, and they always defend. Once the Suras, the demigods win, they don't care to go to Sutala planet or whatever planet. They don't care. But Asuras, they want to occupy this planet and that planet also. They are always. So whoever has this Magridha Kasas Vidhanam, that's the first verse of the Ishopanishad, right? Oh. Not this. So Ishopanishad mantra 1. Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magridha kasya svidhanam. Everything animate and inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong. They don't belong to that person or this person, they belong to Krishna. Krishna has allotted this much for that person, this much for this person, quota. And let's respect that quota. I should not aspire for more than what I've got. That is called self-sufficiency. If people live on this principle, there will be no overpopulation. They say overpopulation. No, it's not overpopulation. It's because of greed. One person does not need more than 3 paces of land, as Bali Maharaj, Vamanadev said. I want just 3 paces of land. That much is enough for one person to stay, really. How much more we need? Don't really need much. But we want to occupy more. So that's the reason why there is not enough. And then some keep, and rather throw than give it to others. Big countries, they do this. They dump grains, so many in the sea, rather than to give it to the poor countries. So it's because of mismanagement and lack of Krishna consciousness. Mismanagement because of lack of Krishna consciousness, that is causing this seeming phenomenon of overpopulation. Otherwise, there's no such thing. Now, if you go back to that verse again, once Vishnu has been seen, whole earth becomes no greater than speck of. All the waters of the ocean become mere droplets. Again, fighting going on for water. How much water we can control? Mere droplets. That's it. All the oil digging, oil rigs and all this. Now you may say, hey, that would mean there is no automobiles and everything and all these things. Actually, really speaking, there's not much need of it. We are using, it is there, we are using and trying to enlighten them. But otherwise, if everybody is wherever they are and preaching there, that's it. That's enough. There's no need of excessively traveling here and there. What is the need? What are people doing? Going here and eating, going there and eating. Oh, I want to eat Chinese food, I want to eat Korean food, I want to eat Japanese food, Mexican food. Eat now something, whatever you have, eat, grow your own food in the field and eat. That's it. Eating only, right? Why wasting time traveling here and same food you're going into the mouth? That's it. So, eating, sleeping, mating, different, and they go somewhere else to do. Oh, this is different. I went to this place. What did you do? Eat, sleep, made different. Same thing in different place. Same stool in different packaging. There's a dry stool, wet stool. Like that. Somebody said, oh, this part of the stool is better because in India, pass stool on the field. Animals also they pass stool in the field. And then sun comes out and the outside becomes dry. Inside is wet. Now if I say that outside this part is better because it's dry, inside is wet. Both are stool. So one thing is better than, so it's just like that, and just a different version of the same thing. Punah charvita charvananam, chewing the chewed. So all the waters of the ocean become mere droplets. That means insignificant. Who cares for droplets, right? The totality of fire becomes a minute spark. Now you may say, what does that mean? Okay. Today, you know how countries show their might? By becoming a nuclear power. What is that? I have fire. They're just gathering these elements. They want more land, they want more water, they want more fire. What is nuclear war? If you have nuclear weapons, means what? You have more fire. So they want more land, more water, more fire. They just want to have control over these elements. That's what it is actually, if you look at it. So they want to have more fire. Oh, I have these many nuclear bombs, so you better watch out. So that's how we want to bully others. And that's how what's happening with America. That's what they do all over the world. They bully everybody. Because why? They have fire. Now, if that fire, the totality of fire becomes a minute spark, that means I don't consider this as very important. This is basically all that overlordship of these over these elements we have to reduce. We are not supposed to become overlords here. We are not anyway. We think we are. But that mentality of trying to become the overlord of everything, That is our problem, and that is causing all so much strife in this material world, fighting. Whoever has more control over the elements, they have more say. Not only that, the winds become just a faint sigh. Actually, there is research on how to create typhoons, but it's very, they hardly have any control over the thing. But they're attempting, because if they can, they will do it. You just extrapolate what they're doing. How much control can I have? Okay, if I have control over the land, if I have control over the waters, if I have control over the fire, the next is air. And air, that's why they have airspace. Yeah, they want to control the airspace. And they want to manipulate air systems, like, these things. But, it's not so easy. Then finally, ether. They want to go to space now. Or they want to send the farthest spacecrafts. And, recently, I asked one Indian, he was a patriotic fellow. So I was just speaking, what was the real benefit in going to this Chandrayaan mission? What was the real benefit? Even if they touched the moon, what did they do there? What is the big, how much money is being used, and then we can use it for welfare here. No? Give it to us, we will build a temple here. Yeah. We are also preparing for big journeys, very far, Vaikuntha. Give it here. Why? So I was saying, no, it's important that we have some say in the space race, because then people will respect us, all the other countries would. So that means you are going there in the space just to get control over on this land here, on this earth. You want to show yourself as, I'm big dog. So you want to show some space gimmick somewhere, and then, yeah, we also have space technology. Okay, now we are also big. Okay, now listen to us. We have some leverage in the geopolitical negotiations. So this is how they see. That's it. They just are doing this. It's a scam. It's a scam, and it's just a race for overlordship. And therefore, Shankaracharya said, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam. One book is enough. If at all the whole world takes this book seriously, Bhagavad Gita, whole world's problems will be solved. Why? All this will be mitigated. All these overlordship tendencies will come down, and then automatically everything will become peaceful. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. One worshipable Lord. And that's not Biden. That's Krishna. What is that? Krishna. Devaki Putra Eva. Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani. That is a very bold statement. Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani. One chant, one slogan for the world. What is that? Krishna's names. That means our religion should take over the world. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction. That is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's prediction also. That one day there will be a day where all the religions of the world will merge into the ocean of this Krishna consciousness movement, and this will become the most dominant religion in the world. This is a real religion. And how much ever people may not like such statements and say, hey, this is religious supremacism or whatever you may call it, this is to help them. We don't care. It's Krishna's desire, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire, Acharya's desire, it will happen. Whether we want to be in that or not is the only thing. No, Prabhu, that was just said in a very poetic, idealistic sense, that's exactly what they thought when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithivite Achusata Nagaradigram. Even Gaudiya Math, big sannyasis, they were thinking it was just a poetical way of saying, Prithivite Achusata, in India, actually. Underestimating the words of the Lord. So, Shastri Kurvanti Shastrani. The devotee gives authority to the Vedic statements also, Shastras. So, he gives authority to the statement of the Krishna also. Krishna said something, people don't have faith. But the pure devotee like Prabhupada, he came and proved that the words will come true. He went everywhere all over the world. and preached. So that should be done. That should be done. And then these things will subside. All this mantra, this verse is the solution for world peace. And the expanse of space becomes a tiny hole. Who is interested in a tiny hole? If you have a hole, you will patch it up, or you're not interested in a hole. What is? That's it. Everything will become insignificant, and Krishna will become the mainstay of our consciousness. Otherwise, our mainstay of our consciousness is everything else. Everything else. What is that? Before the Nidra. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Niranam Santi Sahasrashaha Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedhinam. They think they have thousands and millions of subjects to think about, talk about, but they don't see anything in truth. Great lords like Rudra and grandfather Brahma become insignificant, and all the demigods become like small insects. Once Krishna is known, they're as good as insects. Cockroach, Indra, as good as cockroach. So, because ultimately they are just living entities, no? Different bodies. Indeed, even one particle of dust from our Lord's feet conquers all. One particle of dust. Sri Padadhuli Kana. So, this is called real seeing. Whereas today's verse, they are called distorted, narrow-minded seeing is Rajatama Sattva Vibhakta Karmadrik. This kind of vision is a very narrow vision. And just Arthaparaha, living entity, Sa Arthaparaha, intent upon gaining wealth, Paribhraman, wandering all over. Bhavatavim, I think the other day, who was showing that verse? Prahlad Prabhu, I think. They risk their lives. What is that verse? To gain wealth. Money and honey. Yeah, that's what it was showing. Money is sweeter than honey. Seven, 6, 10. Yeah. Konvartha trishnam visrjet pranebhyopi ya ipsitah yam krinat yasubhihi preshthais taskarah sevako vanik. There are title of Vanik, family names, Vanik in India. They are merchants. Banya is, yes. Vanik also is there. What is Vanik? Merchant. That is actually. So, money is so dear that one conceives of money as being sweeter than honey. Therefore, who can give up the desire to accumulate money, especially in household life? Thieves, professional servants, soldiers, and merchants try to acquire money even by risking their very dear lives. This is Duratya. It's like forest, going to the forest. Bhavatavim. Like there used to be one Veerappan. Veerappan? You don't know? Sandalwood smuggler in India. He used to be in the forests in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu border, like that. So he is a sandalwood smuggler, big don, and he used to rule the forests, just like Ravana's brothers Khara and Dushana were living in the forest ranges. This guy was like that, but he was also charitable. Something he feels, whatever he has. Demons also have their own way of charitable disposition. But he used to rule the forest, and he used to kill anybody, any competition. Nobody would dare, not even the authorities would dare to come face him. But then he was encountered and he was killed in an encounter in the forest by the government. It was a bold operation, but he was living just like Rakshasa would live, like Hara and Dushana, in the forest, smuggling. And even those drug lords of the Mexican drug lords, Italian drug lords, they risk their lives. They cannot actually really enjoy anything. Their size is how much the bed, how big can it be? So, but they think that this is happening and then they risk their lives for just some wealth. That's why our thing is not to chase wealth. Not to chase wealth. You see, you just study our Varnashram system. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. In Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, no chasing wealth. I'm talking about personal wealth. For Krishna's operations, yes, that's another thing. But for personal, there is no chasing of wealth, no accumulation of wealth. Only Grihasthas. Even among Grihasthas, the Brahmanas don't. The Kshatriyas, they collect taxes from the Vaishyas. And the Shudras are given also by the Vaishyas. Only the Vaishyas in the Grihastha ashram also, the Vaishyas are the ones who produce agricultural products, dairy, and all this. That's it. In 4 Varnas and 4 ashramas, it's only one of them which is actually producing the wealth. And what is that? What is the word for that? He's not satisfied in earning wealth. There is a quality of a Vaishya, you know. 11, 17, 18. Astikyam dananishta cha adambho brahma sevanam atushtir arthopachayir vaishya prakritayastvima. Vaishya's qualities are these. He is astikya. He has faith in Vedic civilization. Okay, he is a devotee. I mean, he is favorably disposed towards Vedic civilization. Dedication to charity, dana nishtha. He is fixed in charity. He earns a lot. And you know how he earns? We will read that. Freedom from hypocrisy. Okay, his freedom from hypocrisy. Service to the Brahmana. Brahma Sevanam is always serving the Brahmanas. Perpetually desiring to accumulate more money. You know, here it is English, it is translated like this. But in the Sanskrit, you know what it is? Atushtir arthopachayayar. Atushti means satisfied. Atushti means never satisfied. In the matter of earning more money. Never satisfied. He wants more money. But he also gives dhananishta and brahma sevanam. So when one is like that, there is no restriction in earning money. You can earn as much money and then support the entire fabric of the varnashram system. Human fabric, societal fabric. So you see how less importance is there, although the civilizations back then were way more opulent than today. Today we think we have so much technology and this and that, but you know, we are eating in plastic plates. They used to eat in golden plates. Golden plates, silver plates. I used to see my grandfather. Since I was a small kid, my consciousness came, I used to always see him eating a silver plate. He has a silver plate and he will eat only in that silver plate. Now plastic plate. We're becoming more and more, you know, downward. Although we think in a macro scale we are very rich, actually we are not. So real richness means filled with natural resources like, you know, minerals, precious metals and all these things. That used to be the richness. There's no need of, you know, digging the oil in the ocean or something, what you're doing. And definitely that will have some repercussions. Why the oil is there? For you to suck out, is it? No. That oil is there for some purpose. Maybe it's a lubricant for the entire tectonic plates even. And then you are sucking it out. And now what will happen? You will have bigger earthquakes, you will have bigger, all this will come. One day the research will reach that point where they will realize, oh yeah, we should not have done this. That had a purpose and we extracted everything out and polluted the atmosphere, screwed up the ground. Now everything is gone. Everything, I think, it will come to that. One day the research will eventually lead. Because Krishna does not put anything without reason. If the oil is there, crude oil, what for it is there? What for it is there? Must be some reason, no? These people think, no, it's for us to extract and use whatever. So, Vaishya. So, least importance is given for wealth. Because all bad qualities will follow if we chase wealth. Today, the healthcare system, wealth, capitalist. This is the problem with capitalism. Problem with capitalism is they chase wealth. Ethics go out of the window. If a medicine, usually medicine, Ayurvedic doctors, previously Brahmanas, they used to be conversant very well. What to speak of that? Today morning, who? Jagan Prabhu's mother, elderly lady, no? She was just walking to her home, and she on the way, just here, I would think it's a grass. She just saw one small plant. I said, "This is Nilangi plant." I never even heard that name before. Is way more bitter than the neem, and very effective. So many medicinal properties. So we have medicines all over us. We don't even know. Just pluck out one leaf, and I ate. It was so bitter. Still, I can taste the bitterness. I ate it at about 6:50, 6:45 maybe. Now I can still feel the bitterness in my tongue. That bitter. So but it's very good for health itself. They were given as children. They were given every day, or some regularly a week. So the Ayurveda, the Brahmana, he used to know, and he simply makes some medicine, and then free he used to give, and whatever dakshin they give, that's it. Now, patent, big corporation lobbying the government, getting all kinds of medicine, and then because of patent, then you can make money, intellectual property rights, and because of that, old medicines like what are effective, they will not suggest them because they have a financial agenda. It's just you follow the money trail, you will find where the truth is. Nowadays, what they present as truth, you cannot believe one sentence what they say. Follow the money, you will see where the actual truth is. Okay, it's all about money. That's the problem with capitalism, chasing money as if it's the highest ideal. So ours is welfare, spiritual welfare state. That is the actual Vedic civilization. So anyway, I would like to stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic? Rajeshwari Mataji is commenting there. Advani means traveler / being on a journey. Oh, that's interesting.
You did mention about that animals being benefited when we look at them as a lesson. Could that be same for someone that we can learn from, let's say an envious person or someone who fell down? Would they be benefited in the same life or in the next one?
Yeah, they will be benefited because they somehow contributed to the Krishna consciousness movement, or a person's advancing in Krishna consciousness. Without their knowledge, they are benefiting because of the devotee's good. That's why it is very important for us to be always conscious and not get lost in the materialistic feelings. Oh, he said like that, these guys said like this, he did that, he did this. For correcting them, yeah, we may show some anger, but it's actually out of love. So we should not have. That's why Prabhupada said, he quoted Jesus Christ, hate the sin, not the sinner. If you hate the sinner, you cannot preach, you cannot help anyone. You hate the sin, you should hate what they're doing because it's not good for them, but you should not hate the person. So if we become Krishna conscious, then even by just thinking about that person, suppose somebody has fallen down, and if I just take that as a lesson, how I should not fall down, if I take that as an instruction, oh, that he did like that and he fell down, yes, that is bad, I should criticize that behavior. I should. Why? So that in my mind, I am dead against it. Oh, he went against the order of the Guru, that is rascaldom, we will say. But we don't hate them. We say strongly so that to purify ourselves, to guard ourselves, and to guard others who are listening, and to show them that, in fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's a beautiful article that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. He said, it's actually, printed that article in the coming magazine of the Rath Yatra. Prajalpa, you should read, every devotee should read that. The title is Prajalpa. It's not very long article. So in that he said, what is Prajalpa and why we should not engage in Prajalpa. But then he says, Sukadeva Goswami criticized materialists very heavily. Because in the Nectar of Instruction we see in the 5th verse, the advanced devotee, he does not criticize anybody. Free from criticism, we should surrender to such devotee. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sukadeva Goswami, you see the example, how severely criticized. He used animals' names, he used, Varaka, Mudha, all these words were used. Called them dogs, camels, asses, frogs, and everything he could think of. All kinds of words to. But that is not out of hatred for them. Not out of hatred for them. To enlighten us. To enlighten us. So, for instruction, for one's own purification, for others' purification, and for the purification of the person who is being chastised. For those reasons, criticism is necessary. At the same time, I should not be carried away by hate for that person who I am criticizing. It's a very fine line. And one should be, that's why we should be very careful in how we are indulging in our, what is Prajalpa and what is not. Criticism and yet not Prajalpa is indulged in by Acharyas for our benefit. So that's not Prajalpa then. It's instructive. It promotes the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and that's not Prajalpa. But if I'm just having envy for that person, that's Prajalpa. That's unnecessary gossip. Like, even those topics where some prostitute, some Rakshasa, oh, he did this, we are not sitting here and, that guy did this, this guy did that, Hiranyakashipu did this, Ramana. We are not gossiping about them. We are speaking about them because we want not to be like that. We don't want to be like that. And we don't want others to be like that. So we are highlighting their bad qualities, not because of gossip, but to instruct. So it's very nicely explained. So again, what was your question? I lost my.
No, you answered properly. Does the person who falls down or become benefited in the same life or in the next life? We learn.
Yeah, they will benefit. Yes, of course. They should be chastised and corrected, or their faults must be, At the same time, I should also take the lesson and not simply be filled with hatred for that person. So, all right. So, any other questions or comments? It's very late. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.